This video will cover 3 more examples for writing equations of a hyperbola in standard form when the center is not at 0, 0. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to graph my given information. So I have vertices at the order pair 1, 2 and 9, 2. So I'm going to graph the vertices. Then I also have a focus at 0, 2 and 10, 2. Your hyperbola will surround the focus. So you can see that this hyperbola is going to be horizontal. So the equation that I'm going to be filling in is going to be x minus h squared over a squared minus y minus k squared over b squared equals 1. So first thing I could find is the center, and I can either use the midpoint formula to find the midpoint between the two foci or between the two vertices. So if I find it between the two vertices, I would add the x's, divide by 2, add the y's, divide by 2. 10 over 2, 4 over 2, 5, 2 is going to be my center point, which is my h and k. Next, what I can do is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me graph it. So now I can find my a value. A is going to be the distance from the vertex, one of the vertices, to the center. And I can see that it's 4 spaces away. Then I can also find the c value, which will be the distance between the focus and the center. So my c value is 5. So remember, what we need to fill in, though, is b squared. So I'm going to be using the formula c squared equals a squared plus b squared. Let me go ahead and replace c squared with 25, a squared with 16, and I'm solving for b squared. I'll subtract, I get 9 equals b squared. Now I can fill in a squared, I'll square that, I get 16, fill in b squared with what I just got, and then I also have my h and my k from my center over here. So final answer is going to be x minus 5 squared over a squared, which is 16, minus y minus 2 squared over 9 equals 1. Final answer. So let me show you another example. I've already got the example written down. I'm going to be writing an equation of a hyperbola given the vertices and also given an asymptote. So let me go ahead and give myself a visual so I can see if my graph is horizontal or vertical. So I have a vertex here at 0, 2 and another one here at 6, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 2. Those are my vertices. I can find my center point by finding the midpoint, add the x's, add the y's, and divide by 2. 0 plus 6 is 6, divide by 2 is 3, and then 2 plus 2 is 4, divide by 2 is 2. So my center is going to be at 3, 2. So I can find my a value here, and it's going to be the distance from each vertex to the center, and my a value here is 3. Now, if you recall from the notes, when we have an asymptote, it's going to be y equals k plus or minus. Since it's horizontal, it's going to be b over a, and then x minus h. All I really need here to focus on is my b over a. So b over a is equal to 2 over 3. I can already see that this isn't simplified because it's a equals 3, which is what I have from over here. So this tells me that b equals 2. So b squared will be 4. So now I can just go ahead and fill in everything that I have. So it's going to end up being x minus 3 squared over a squared, which is 9, minus y minus 2 squared over 4, which is the b squared, equals 1. Let me do one more example. This time I'm going to do an example where it passes through a point. So again, let's quickly graph the vertices. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. And then 5, negative 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3. All right, so here are my two vertices. Again, I could do the midpoint formula and figure out where the center is. Add the 5s, get 10, divide by 2. Add 3 and negative 3, get 0 divided by 2. So my center point is at 5, 0. It's right here on the axis. Next thing I could do is figure out my a value, and I can see that the distance or the number of spaces between the center and the vertex or vertice is going to be 3. So a squared is 9. Remember, the point that it's passing through is x and a y. So now I'm going to replace this. Since it's horizontal, my equation, actually it's vertical, they're on top of each other. So it's going to be y minus k squared over a squared minus x minus h squared over b squared equals 1. So let me replace. I know my y is 5 from the point that they gave us. The k is from the center, and the k is the 0. My a squared is 9. X of the point they gave me is 0. The h is 5, and I don't know b squared. Let me go ahead and simplify. 25 over 9, 25 over b squared. I can go ahead and change the 1 into a 9 over 9. I'm subtracting 25 over 9. And now I'm going to get negative 25 over b squared equals negative 16 over 9. I'm going to treat this as a proportion. I'm going to cross multiply, divide, and b squared equals positive 225 over 16. Now I can replace everything that I have and get my final answer here. So final answer is going to be y minus 0 squared over a squared, which is 9. And then I have x minus 5 squared over the 225 over 16 equals 1. Be aware that this could be an answer on a standardized test, or we could also swing the 16 to the top and also get rid of the minus 0. So y squared over 9, 16 times x minus 5 squared over 225 equals 1. So these are 3 additional answers where the center is not at the origin.